Well, hello, folks. I just got off work here. Breaking news. 6 hours ago, CBC goes and interviews the committee, our pension board committee, and who oversees all our financing. The legislation's there, separate law than CPP. And folks, Alberta owes America a lot of money. Not just Alberta, Ontario, BC, and largely those three provinces. Danielle Smith, too ignorant to do the proper work, stumbles across the employer CPP slush fund that she was trying to steal. She believed she was going to take it from Trudeau. Unfortunately, folks, I'm going to explain how this goes. I myself, for many years, worked for a multitude of employers per year. Sometimes in my field, I would work for upwards of 16 different companies. Massive CPP overpayments. EI, same thing too. Now, what Danielle Smith doesn't know about all of us folks, a large percentage of the mobile workforce in Alberta and, yes, the rest of Canada, is that the CPP fund must remit back to us all of those deductions made. Now, what Smith ignorantly doesn't understand, and her pension board looking for an Alberta pension plan, is that of that 300 and some claimed $1 billion, she doesn't understand that all of that, almost, well, half of it, exactly half of it, was remitted back to Albertans. I know every year I get a CPP and EI overpayment. I have for many, many years. But what folks don't know is the other half is the match from the employer. And the employer does not get that money back. It's put into a slush fund. Yes, in the federal CPP, but not administered by the government of Canada. It's administered by the two largest provinces. Alberta is number 3 there. It's not Quebec either, folks. Quebec has their QPP. It's Ontario and British Columbia, Doug Ford, David Eby. They get transfers back from the federal government. Other provinces get it too, but they're not in charge of the slush fund CPP funds. Ontario and British Columbia are. Currently, that's Doug Ford and David Eby. Now, Danielle Smith would know about the corruption if she was at least the second largest province, but we're not. We're the 4th, but in the CPP system, we're the 3rd. You have to read your laws, folks, you see. Now, who are the companies who financed all of the slush fund by a total of 90% of that half of the CPP overpayments that Danielle Smith's claiming? It's the United States of America. Largely, the companies doing the massive CPP overpayments and are completely ignorant because they follow the 401k and have no clue about the CPP overpayments and surplus is the United States of America. They don't run a system like that, and they don't realize that when they're paying the Canadian contractors who are billing them for the CPP overpayments, that they do collect and they remit. It's billed to the United States of America, largely in Canada. The USA pays 90% of it. So of Danielle Smith's claim of 300 and some said $1 billion, half of it all Albertans have already gotten back. The other half, it was the United States of America who was billed for it, largely at 90% of it. And then it was the province of Alberta who got that money back in transfers. But again, the legislation on the committee and board that oversees it, it's only made available to Doug Ford, Premier Doug Ford, and Premier David Eby from BC. So, Conservative Party, Doug Ford, Progressive Conservatives, and the NDP, David Eby. Ottawa has no choice but to remit, and it's done through the board. That's the who, what, where, follow the money. And that's all Danielle Smith has successfully done, is showing a light on her slush fund that is largely financed by ripping off the United States of America. And you can look at the Alberta companies, the clients who were billed for it, they're almost 90% American. No wiser, kept ignorant, left in the dark. Danielle Smith is absolutely that stupid. That's the truth. That's my video. Breaking, real, credible. You'll find that all Canadians, and I repeat, all Canadians in Canada pay the exact same maxed contributions a year. Those who pay the most, these Albertans, I'm one of them, we get it back at tax time. Who doesn't get it back is all of the contractors who build all the clients. And largely, that's America, for at least absolutely 90% of Alberta's contributions. We were ripping the United States of America off. It's a slush fund from corporations largely billing the clients who are American operating in Alberta, no wiser because they have a completely different system called the 401k. They have no idea that they were being ripped off in Canada. Our max CPP contributions are less than half that of what the 401k contributions are in the United States. Actually, it's about 38%. So Americans would never be any wiser. To them, they would look at it, especially in Canadian funds, makes sense to them. But really, they were being ripped off in a massive capacity. Trillions of dollars. The claim Rachel Notley's made on the $300 and some billion owed to Alberta, half of it was already paid back to every overpaying Albertan. The other half was paid back to Alberta in federal transfers. But it's a slush fund, not privy to any Alberta premier, because the law says only the premiers of the two biggest provinces in the plan. I know people don't like to read laws, but the bungling boob, Danielle Smith, is about the dumbest premier we've seen in a long time. And those NGOs, where the big walkout happened in Sherwood Park with a lot of Albertans who said, listen to that guy. It's because I did the work, Albertans. I did the work. And every real, true-blooded separatist from 2019, more than 167 people involved in the tremendous work we did, know it to be true. And I made a real Alberta pension plan where I didn't cheat any Albertans or any Canadians. I made it so we'd finish off in the CPP for all those already brought in and have a separate on top of that Alberta pension plan. And if it had gone through, anyone over the age of 18 would have had that plan at substantially more contributions. Anyone can pull our platform from 2019. Anyone can look at the media. They said we had a ton of left policy platforms and a ton of right policy platforms. We weren't going to rip anybody off. We were going to make viable social platform for all the people. Viable social policies, not socialism. Socialism is stealing money from one group of people to repatriate it to another. We were going to give viable social programs every Alberta could get into. I really did research the CPP. I really did all the work. Danielle Smith has sat on her fat, lazy ass for 12 months, hired some doofus civil society NGOs who didn't do any research, any real work, didn't contact any real experts. And now Danielle Smith publicly made a foolish ass of herself. More than that, now America knows about the slush fund, about the trillions of dollars. Literally half of what Danielle Smith's claiming belongs to the United States of America. It's a slush fund taking advantage of American investment and American clients in Canada, largely in Alberta, but there's many in Ontario too, and a lot of other foreign countries throughout Ontario too. And folks, like I said, Ontario is the largest contributor to CPP. Danielle Smith was fooled by the overpayments, that she doesn't realize everybody gets paid back, except for the companies who have billed largely foreign companies, foreign clients. And again, who's the largest on the hook? Those who filled the slush fund the largest were American companies by 90%, at least for the province of Alberta. Who, what, where the money is, no Albertans. You didn't pay more than anybody else. Companies did. But again, who did they bill for it? The United States of America, who has a 401k that is literally almost three times the size of the CPP in contribution status. And when you factor in USD, there's no way Americans would ever be any wiser in knowing that they were ripped off in a slush fund to this magnitude. But they were. And it's actually Alberta who owes the United States the most. And that's going to be coming down the pipeline. It's been made public today. It won't be long before USA comes knocking. A lot of American companies come knocking, and it won't be long at all. That's my video. Critical's truth. Critical share. And honestly, this is how corrupt and even stupidly corrupt your politicians are. They're so corrupt and so stupid now that they don't even know it. That's how bad it is. It's humiliating. It's awful. It's awful that there were 3 NGOs running around Alberta selling this. Worse, for 12 months, a premier got in bed and behind this and is that much of an idiot who has literally no experts behind them at all. And Trevor Toome was the expert. He's an idiot. He's an idiot when it comes to this file, because it's not economics, it's finance. It's you, the Canadian people, as subjects. It's your finance, and largely corporations. And sorry, people, but when it comes to the corporate status and laws in relation to CPP, it's entirely provincial. Sure, it's federally regulated, but it's run by 2 of the largest provinces. And in the absence of Quebec, that's Ontario and Quebec. I'm sorry, nobody's ever educated anybody in the law, in the system, how it is, but that's how it is. You should all read it. 2 acts I presented more now than almost 48 hours ago. Media just picked up on it 6 hours ago, but now the United States of America is learning that they've been a huge victim. At least major investment corporations in Canada, they've been a huge victim of a massive slush fund. So I guess congratulations, Danielle Smith. You owe a lot of American companies a lot of money. That's my video. Share, mark my words. The media might go dead silent on it, But America's not. You're going to all see it. And you can thank the bumbling boobs in legislatures and parliament. They're just that stupid. That's my video. I know.